A quiet city turns into a nightmare in just one moment. A normal day in St. John's suddenly breaks when a crime scene appears that makes no sense at all. Nothing looks simple, nothing feels normal. And the worst part is, the truth is hiding somewhere in plain sight, waiting for someone sharp enough to find it. This is the kind of case that does not just test skill, it tests patience, trust, and instincts. One wrong step can change everything. In the world of Hudson and Rex, Season 8, Episode 12 opens with that exact kind of tension. The city feels calm on the outside, but inside the investigation unit, there is pressure building fast. Detective Hudson arrives at the scene and immediately senses something is off. It is not just about what happened, but about what is missing. Important details are gone, and someone clearly tried to control the story of the crime. Rex, his loyal K-9 partner, reacts before anyone else. He picks up a scent that does not match the obvious path. This small moment changes everything. While others look at the surface, Hudson starts thinking deeper. Why would someone carefully clean certain areas but leave other clues behind? It feels planned, too planned, and that is where the real mystery begins to form. The first section of the investigation focuses on understanding the crime scene itself. A key piece of evidence is found slightly hidden, not placed by accident, but not fully removed either. It looks like someone wanted it to be found, but only by the right person. This raises a big question in Hudson's mind. Is this a simple crime, or is someone sending a message? As the team begins to map out the early timeline, nothing matches perfectly. Witness statements conflict. Camera angles are unclear. Even the timing feels slightly adjusted. Every detail adds more confusion instead of clearing it. And in the middle of all this, Hudson stays focused on Rex's reactions, trusting the dog's instincts more than the noise around him. The pressure starts to grow quietly, not from outside, but inside the investigation. Someone wants answers fast, but Hudson knows rushing will only make things worse. He slows everything down, replaying each clue in his mind. The smallest detail could be the key to breaking the entire case open. By the end of this opening phase, one thing becomes clear. This is not a normal investigation. Someone carefully shaped the crime scene to mislead the police, but they forgot one thing. They did not account for Rex. And that mistake may be the first crack in their perfect plan. The investigation shifts deeper as the initial shock of the crime scene settles into a more serious search for truth. What first looked like a single incident now begins to feel like something larger, something carefully built over time. Every officer on the team starts to realize that they are not just solving a case. They are stepping into a situation that has layers hidden beneath layers. Nothing is straightforward anymore, and every new detail seems to pull the case in a different direction. In Hudson and Rex Season 8, Episode 12, Detective Hudson takes full control of the early investigation process. He does not rush, even when pressure rises around him. Instead, he studies the crime scene again and again, looking at it from different angles, as if the answers might appear if he changes how he sees them. The environment feels controlled, almost staged, and that thought alone changes how he approaches every clue. This is no longer about finding what happened first, but understanding why it was made to look this way. Rex stays close, moving through the area with focus and calm attention. Every reaction he shows becomes important. A pause, a turn, a sudden alert toward a specific direction, these small moments start forming a pattern. Hudson begins to rely on these signals more than the confusing reports coming from witnesses. People can forget, misremember, or even lie, but Rex reacts only to what is real. That difference becomes the backbone of the investigation. As the team expands its search, they begin to uncover small inconsistencies in the environment around the crime scene. A misplaced object here, a cleaned surface there, a shadow of movement caught on a distant camera that does not match any official timeline. Each discovery does not solve the case, but instead adds another question. The feeling grows stronger that someone carefully prepared for every step the police might take. It feels like the investigation itself was expected. Hudson starts to connect these strange details with earlier cases, wondering if there is a hidden link. There is a pattern forming, but it is not clear yet. It is like trying to read a sentence with missing words. The meaning is there, but it refuses to fully reveal itself. This uncertainty makes the investigation more intense, because every small mistake could send them in the wrong direction completely. At the same time, pressure from higher authorities begins to quietly enter the situation. They want updates. They want progress. But Hudson understands that speed is dangerous in a case like this. Moving too fast could destroy the fragile clues they are starting to uncover. So he holds his ground, choosing patience over urgency, even when others begin to question his methods. Rex's behavior becomes even more important during this stage. He reacts strongly near certain locations, especially where nothing obvious seems to be present. This contradiction confuses the team at first, but Hudson trusts it. He knows Rex is detecting something hidden beneath the surface. It may be a scent, a trace, or something too small for human senses, but it is real. As the investigation continues, the idea that this is a random crime completely disappears. Instead, everything points toward planning, structure, and intent. Someone wanted the police to follow a certain path. Someone prepared for their arrival. And someone made sure that confusion would be part of the process from the very beginning. By the end of this phase, the case is no longer just about what happened in that single moment. It is about uncovering a design behind the crime itself. The deeper Hudson goes, the more it feels like he is not just chasing a suspect, but stepping into a carefully built trap that is still active, still working, and still not fully revealed. The investigation moves into a more focused stage as Detective Hudson begins narrowing down the possible directions the case could take. What started as a confusing scene is now slowly turning into a structured search for truth. Even if that truth is still buried under layers of misdirection. Every small piece of evidence is now treated like part of a bigger puzzle, and nothing is ignored, no matter how unimportant it may seem at first. In Hudson and Rex Season 8, Episode 12, the central crime begins to take clearer shape during this phase. The victim's background is studied in detail, and the team starts building a timeline of the last known movements. Friends, coworkers, and possible connections are all questioned again, but this time with more focus. Small contradictions begin to appear in statements that once seemed normal. A simple change in timing here, a missing detail there, and slowly the picture becomes more complicated than expected. Hudson pays close attention to how the story of the crime is being told by different people. Some details feel too perfect, as if they were repeated many times before being shared. Others feel uncertain, as if someone is afraid of saying too much. This difference makes Hudson suspicious that not everyone involved is being fully honest. Instead of rushing to conclusions, he begins separating facts from emotions, trying to build a version of events that cannot be easily broken. Rex continues to play an important role in guiding the investigation forward. During the search of nearby areas, he reacts strongly to certain locations that initially seem unrelated to the crime. One spot in particular draws his attention repeatedly, even though there is nothing visible there at first glance. Hudson takes note of this behavior and orders a closer inspection of the area. Soon, something unusual is found that was not part of the original search scope. It is small, but meaningful enough to shift the direction of the investigation slightly. As more witnesses are interviewed, patterns begin to appear in how people describe the timeline. Some events overlap incorrectly, while others are missing completely. It feels like parts of the story were adjusted intentionally. This raises the possibility that someone may have influenced what people saw or remember. The idea that the crime scene was not only controlled physically, but also socially, starts to form in Hudson's mind. The team begins mapping connections between the victim and possible suspects. At first, the links seem weak, almost accidental. But as more data is added, certain names begin to appear more than once in different contexts. These repeated connections suggest that the victim was not randomly chosen. Instead, there may have been a pattern of interaction that led to a planned outcome. Hudson focuses on these repeating names, treating them as potential keys to understanding the real motive. At the same time, pressure continues to build quietly from outside the investigation unit. Officials want clearer answers and faster progress, but Hudson remains careful. He understands that this case is built on fragile information, and forcing conclusions too early could destroy important leads. His approach becomes more patient, even when others around him start to feel the urgency.